Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today's topic is sea fever for class 10. So let's start. So let's first talk about the poet John Masefield. His lifespan was from 1878 to 1967. He was a poet, writer and poet laureate of the United Kingdom from 1930. He wrote many novels for children like The Midnight Folk and The Box of Delights. Sea Fever is taken from Saltwater Ballads, a collection of sea poems. Let's talk about the structure of the poem. The poem is written in simple language. 3 stanzas are similar in structure. First line begins with I must go down to the seas again, followed by a prepositional phrase. Each stanza also states a matter of request beginning with and all I ask is. And each stanza is a quatrain. Quatrain is a stanza of 4 lines consisting of 2 couplets. Do you know what is couplet? A pair of successive lines of verse, typically rhyming and of the same length. The poem begins, I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky. Look at the meaning again. Another time, lonely, solitary, without any companion. The poet expresses his desire to sail another time to the solitary sea and under a quiet sky. That means he expects cooperation of the sea and the sky. Next line, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. Word meaning, tall ship, ship with a high mast, steer, guide by. Here the poet expresses her desire for the need of a well-built sailing ship with a high mast to sail and a star in the dark sky to act as a guide. Here, her refers to the ship. Third line of the poem, and the wheels kick and the wind song and the white sails shaking. Word meaning, wheels kick, sudden left or right jerk of the wheel. In the line, the speaker wants to feel the vibration of the wheels kick, hear the melody of the wind song and enjoy the shaking of the white sails. Next line, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. Word meaning, mist, fog. Here the poet does not describe the sea in the most classical beautiful terms. Here sea is grey and lonely, giving more mysterious and melancholic connotations, yet enchanting. The adventure would begin, and as each day dawns, he wakes up to see the early grey mist rising from the sea. Now, let's move on to the literary scheme of the first stanza of the poem. At first, we will analyze the figure of speech personification. Do you know what is personification? When the non-living beings are imposed the attributes of living beings, then it is called personification. For example, in the first stanza, we find lonely sea and wind's song in line 1 and in line 3 respectively. So here sea and sea and wind both are personified. Then come to the another figure of speech, that is alliteration. What is alliteration? The occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent words. In line 1, sea and the sky and in line 3 start to steer. In these two lines we find the examples of alliterations given by the poet. Another thing, assonance. Assonance, look at the line, wheels kick and the wind song and the white sails shaking. Here, what is assonance? The repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, it is called assonance. And here we find the sound of I and A are repeatedly used. Once again, notice each stanza also states a request beginning with "and all I ask is." Here, anaphora is used. What is anaphora? Anaphora refers to the repetition of a word or expression in the first part of the verse. Understood? Now the second stanza starts, I must go down to the seas again for the call of the regular tide. First we look at the word meaning. Call means summon and tide, regular rise and fall of water. In this line, the speaker expresses his strong desire to get back to the sea. The second line is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. The word meaning here, wild, is rough and clear means distinct. Here the line expresses the call, the rough and stormy and distinct call of the sea cannot be ignored by the poet. Next, and all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying. Do you know what the word windy means? Full of strong winds. Windy means full of strong winds. The speaker wishes that there would be strong winds that would blow away the thick white clouds in the sky and take the sail forward throughout the day. With the second repeated refrain, and all I ask, the poet seems to be underlining the simplicity of the sea, perhaps in contrast to the complications of everyday life, as if the sea's wild nature is something comfortingly consistent and familiar. Now, and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. Word meaning, flung, thrown in a violent manner, blown, moving, driven by wind, and spume, foam. Now, the terms flung spray, blown spume, and seagulls crying convey the sailor's urge to see spray thrown in a violent manner by the ship as it starts its journey, and hear the cry of the seagulls come at times on the ship. It is more of a type of cargo vessel which used to go on long journeys during earlier days. Now I shall explain the imagery of the second stanza. The second stanza appeals to all five senses through imagery. We, the readers, feel like we are standing on the shore, listening to the seagulls crying in line 8, watching the white clouds flying in line 7, feeling the coldness of the windy day in line 7 also, and the saltiness of the flung spray and the blown spume on our tongue and nose in line 8, all this draw our attention. Third stanza begins, I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life. Look at the word meaning. Gypsy, nomad or free-spirited person. Vagrant, wandering. The poet would like to have a wandering gypsy's life on the sea. Next line, to the girl's way and the well's way where the wind's like a whetted knife. Look at the meaning of the following words. Whetted, that means sharpened. Way, route or road. So, the way on the sea is the way of the seagull, and the whale and the wind is like weighted or sharpened knife. Here, central message of the poem is given. A life at sea is full of contrasts, cruel winds and wild waves, in perfect harmony together with the sweet and endless freedom it allows. Next line, and all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover. What meaning? Yarn, that means tale or story. Fellow rover means accompanying sailor. The speaker wants to hear a merry story from a fellow sailor and share laughter with him. Now the last line of the poem. And quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trek's over. What meaning? Quiet, that means calm. Trek, journey. Here the sea voice. After the long voice, the speaker wants to enjoy an undisturbed sleep and sweet dreams at the end of his long shift on watch or at the helm of the ship. Now I am going to tell you the literary scheme of the third stanza. Image of a vagrant gypsy life brings a mood of freedom and independence to the poem. You find in line 9 the words vagrant gypsy life written, and then in line 10 the image of whetted knife, the expression the winds like a whetted knife. This is also a powerful image which stands out by way of its alliteration and the sudden introduction of the sharp, violent object. In the 3 of the poem stanzas, wind is mentioned, perhaps to draw attention to the way that ships are influenced both by man and by 2 of the most powerful natural forces, the sea and the wind. I have completed the explanation of the poem line by line. Now, what do you think about the significance of the title of the poem? A fever, the title, as you know, sea fever. A fever is something that afflicts someone, something to which they fall victim, something over which they have absolutely no control. The speaker seems to feel likewise powerless against his sea fever, his desire to see the sea and be close to it and sail upon it. His uncontrollable desire can act in the same way as a fever which cannot be shaken off. Throughout the poem, the poet describes how the sea is and what sort of life a sailor leads. The poem also unveils the degree of excitement of the speaker feels at the undeniable call of the sea. So, thus the title Sea Fever is just. The whole poem may be seen as a metaphor for life. Sea represents a modest and humble way to live, so it is better to deal with any storms that may come our way. This is the message of the poem. That's all for today. Hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel down below and press the bell icon. Also like, share and comment so that I know your appreciation. Bye.